Whenever there are major disruptions in the world of business, there also arises major opportunity for entrepreneurs that are forward-thinking and seize the moment. If you're a student of history, you know this to be true. I view these moments in history as amplifiers, meaning the fruits of your labor are magnified many times than in any other normal situation. It doesn't mean that it's a lottery or if you don't work hard, gold will just fall on your lap. It just means that if you happen to be a part of a disruptive business event and you work hard and proactively to capture the opportunities that come with this event, you can make a fortune. If you decided to start a tech company or even buy a lucrative domain during the .com bubble, you had a chance to make a fortune. This is how billionaire Mark Cuban made a fortune. He sold broadcast.com to Yahoo for $5.7 billion. The platform was terminated 3 years later. If you were in real estate during the US housing bubble from 2002 to 2006, you saw your investments achieve record returns. If you bet against the US economy right before the financial crisis, or even had capital saved up to gobble up undervalued houses or other assets after the crash, you would have multiplied your money by many times by now. We recently saw the boom of cryptocurrency from 2011 when it was worth $1 to 2018 where it climbed to $20,000 just 7 years later. In each of these events, proactive individuals made enough money for a lifetime. Disruption creates opportunity. This logic has repeated itself over and over again in history. So what if I told you that e-commerce was one of these opportunities and great disruptions? Don't just take my word for it. Let's go over some statistics. First off, in 2019, there were 2 billion e-commerce buyers. Clearly, it's a very big market. So what makes it more alluring than, let's say, any other big market out there? Well, we're not finished yet. As of now, 65% of consumers are going online, but 50% of businesses don't even have an online presence. Furthermore, e-commerce only represented an 8% share of retail in 2018, and in 2019, it grew to 17.5%. Yup, in just a year and more than doubled. If you're a good entrepreneur, these statistics should be screaming one thing at you. There is a tremendous amount of opportunity. I don't know about you, but it's a no-brainer to me that e-commerce will at least be 50% of retail one day. Surely we will live in a world where there will be at least half of the purchasing happening online and physically. Personally, I think it will actually be much more internet activity. In fact, all projections conservatively estimate that e-commerce market will double again by 2021. So what does that mean for me? My business did $20 million in sales in its first year. Even if I sat around and didn't come up with anything new, it will grow to $40 million by 2021 just because more people will be purchasing online. Still don't believe me? Let's just take a look at some crazy e-commerce success stories that we've had in recent years. Allbirds, for example, an e-commerce business that sells wool shoes, went from zero to a $1.8 billion valuation in just 2 years. Kylie Cosmetics, an e-commerce success story, made Kylie Jenner the youngest billionaire within 3 years of the brand launching. Dollar Shave Club made one YouTube video for $4,500 that only took 1 day to shoot and achieved viral status within 72 hours, and 4 years later, they sold for $1 billion in pure hard cash. You can ask around the seasoned business professionals in your lives, and they will tell you that these stories are not typical. They're a reflection of an industry that's booming and a revolution that's going on before our very eyes. Every time you drive by another retailer that's closing its doors, it's another indicator that the e-commerce revolution is in full force. This is why I'm not concerned with educating individuals like you. I know that the pie is growing faster than we can possibly eat it. We aren't even factoring in global markets like Brazil, South Africa, and Mexico that are also going to go through their own e-commerce revolution in these next few years. This is why I'm so bullish about e-commerce. And if this doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. The best part of all of this is that I'm going to teach you a way to start taking advantage of the e-commerce revolution and build an essential toolkit that doesn't require a crazy amount of wealth or resources. After all, I started everything I have now with just $3,000 in the bank, and you can too.